Hello, welcome back to From Soft Serve. For anyone who hasn't seen the previous video, I am remastering the vanilla version of Dark Souls 2, so not Scholar. Because I always felt like the vanilla version didn't really get a lot of modding love, or as much as it could have, because I have not played all the way through vanilla. I had been introduced to DS2 through Scholar. As most people had, because Scholar came out in 2015 and DS2 came out in 2014. So the modding community moved over to Scholar pretty quickly. Scholar also brought DX11 support, where vanilla DS2 is DX9 based. But I've been having an absolute blast. So I kind of wanted to do a quick little video showing some of the upgrades I've made. And before anyone asks, yes, I will be heading back to Dark Souls remastered. This has just been sort of like a nice little vacation for me, which I know sounds weird as a modder, that modding another game feels like a vacation, but it's been really nice because I've gone hard on Dark Souls remastered for months in a row. So it actually has been super nice to just kind of work on something else for a little bit and clear my mind before I make like the final push to fix/finish DSRR. But yeah, so here you'll see dynamic shadows on the grass. It's pretty sick nasty. Easy tweak that you can make to the map piece for the grass. And that I'm able to change. I can add dynamic shadowing to map pieces or objects. I cannot change where that object is in the world or if it exists. I can't. The mod tools, most all of them only support Scholar, and they do not support vanilla. So you kind of have to get crafty to do some things, and I can adjust some things like draw distance and the LOD level, and when it switches to a lower resolution texture, I should say, I can change those. Whether it gets reflected in water, I can affect that. Assuming the water is using planar reflections, not all of them are, but I can adjust the material settings. That is within my power. But actual like draw group alterations, I do not have control over that. So when something pops in really in an ugly fashion, where it just pops up in front of the character's face, that I can't fix, unfortunately. I also can't, well, I'll talk about that later. But yeah, through here you can see new textures, new normal maps on some of these surfaces, kind of like the rocks, look pretty good. I have actually gone through and upscaled the Elite Knight set. It's the only armor set I've touched thus far, because it was the set that I love the most and I will be wearing. So the textures got a little bit of an upgrade. The normal maps, I ended up generating new ones, mixing them with the existing normal maps, so now it has a slightly more weathered look. I think it looks even better in like Majula. Oh, I think they have the same thing where that side has holes. All right, the rotating in Vanilla DS2 is not great. Oh, I guess it's just the specular that sort of shows that they're not actually holes. Yeah. Not as bad as Dark Souls Remastered, where they like full on just plugged up the holes in the helm and it's like super obvious. Okay, buddy. My god. Wow, you have a lot of health, my dude. Also, I don't have the HUD on, so I can't. Oh, I never got this item. Oh, shit. It is a good example of showing the dynamic shadows that are being cast from the trees, and they do automatically get put onto this character. So this actually looks pretty fantastic. Oh, thank God. Okay, that was close. Oh, my God. Ooh, what'd you drop? Ooh, stone ring. Wait, really? Okay. I wasn't aware of that. Additional reduction of enemy poise. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, screw that other ring. I don't need that. Gold pine resin, you'll love to see it. Yeah, I've been enjoying my time in Vanilla DS2, like, a lot. It's been so much fun. I mean, I was going to say I forget how much I enjoy DS2, but no, like, I remember. I think the water actually looks pretty decent here. I think, if I remember correctly, it looks worse than Scholar. They made some texture changes that were a little strange. Anyway, this bridge now has a dynamic shadow being cast over here, and it reaches through the water. The grass has dynamic shadows. The trees have dynamic shadows. The rocks, these trees here, or limbs or whatever, logs, they have dynamic shadows. This has a dynamic shadow. This video is just yada 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 dynamic shadow. That is really what's being added here. Just a shit ton of dynamic shadows and better textures for everything you see here. Things Betwixt is the only one I've like fully gone through and like generated new normal maps for I'd say half of things. There's certain things that didn't need a new normal map. So here's a good example of this. There's a point light that's basically, you can see it in DS Map Studio for Scholar, but there's a point light that's right here, but it's set to not be shadow casting. So of course people would wonder, well, how the fuck are they getting these shadows? Well, the shadows that are here are baked shadows. So I was going to say they're not real, but none of this is real at all. But yeah, these are the fake shadows. You can tell because my character is not casting a shadow. So they fake the shadows on those, but obviously it's baked shadows. It's a shame I can't change that point light to be shadow casting like I did in my Scholar mod. But such is life. That's where I've kept the baked lighting. I was tinkering around with removing the baked lighting because from a technical perspective, I could absolutely do that. It was being a little wonky and it wasn't really letting me do it, but they all function in different ways. Demon Souls does it differently, DS1 does it differently, DS3 definitely does it differently. They all have different ways that you can basically like expunge the baked lighting. But yeah, these logs got a little upgrade. I think I mentioned that in the last video. Here is a great example of this bonfire doesn't have bonfire shadowing, where your character will cast a shadow. You'll see it on other bonfires in DS2. Why it's only on some and not on others, I genuinely don't know. I fixed that in my Scholar mod, which was an easy fix. Once I figured out how to do it, it was in the params. It was fucking weird, and changing a number from 39 to 7 in one of the unknown param fields ended up enabling it. Really, it's the pro tip of any modding is if you're wondering how to do something, I basically looked at the bonfires that I knew were shadow casting, and I went to their params, and I was like, okay, well, what the fuck is the difference? What's the difference? And you compare and contrast, and I realized that all of the bonfires that were shadow casting used the number 7 in one of the unknown fields, where the other ones used like 39. And so you just change, reload, see what happens. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, change that one. And eventually it enabled the shadow casting. So I can't do that in Vanilla DS2, unfortunately. But, you know, such is life. It's been actually kind of nice that I know I can't adjust literally everything. So I'm just able to, it's a lot simpler. I can just go in and upgrade the textures, new normal maps, and enable dynamic shadowing wherever makes sense. I'm doing it on a case-by-case basis. My Scholar mod, I was pretty stupid about it, and I just enabled it on everything, which you run into the shadow limit of DS2, where it will stop rendering the shadows, the dynamic ones, of course. You run into the shadow limitation. And now that, at least with Vanilla DS2, I'm doing it in the smart way, where I'm doing it on a case-by-case basis, like this fence here. And usually it's whenever I see that something didn't even have a baked shadow. And there were plenty of those where they didn't even have a baked shadow. Like this fence is not destructible, because the destructible objects are normally the things that would have dynamic shadows because, well, you would destroy them, and if their baked shadow stayed there, it would be kind of fucking awkward. But this was a case where it just didn't have shadowing, or if it did, it was just incredibly inaccurate. And that's been the case for a lot of things in DS2. Like a lot of what you're seeing here is, you know, an actual shadow being cast. You know, here, the big difference you'll see is sort of in the resolution. The baked ones are, you know, obviously a lot less sharp, which there's a case to be said of like, is that accurate or not? Sure. But yeah, you'll see dynamic shadows being cast on this little tree, wood, whatever the hell, I can't think of the word. I'm still drinking coffee in the morning, so this, I need to look at this map piece because I believe it's using, I think Rage Vitamins fixed this in DS2 lighting engine recently. By default, it's basically you can see it doesn't match the environment at all. I think they're using a light map on it that doesn't make any fucking sense because the texture itself is not green, but it's set to like a light map that doesn't make any sense. It was just an oversight. I'll have to look at that because I'm not sure if I can actually fix that or not, but fingers crossed. Oh, did I not set that grass to be shadow casting? Interesting. But yeah, Majula, new normal maps for some surfaces. I'm not done with Majula just yet. But you'll have nifty higher resolution textures for the sky. One of the things I've noticed in DS2, vanilla at least, but I would assume Scholar as well, is the textures for the skyboxes are very like noisy. They have a lot of visual noise on them, even if they are like 4K by 1K like resolution. So there's been some cases where if it is already 4K by 1K, I'm not going to upscale that by 2 times because then it'll be 8K by 2K, and that's using too much texture memory. And sometimes the depth of field's pretty strong to where like you're not going to notice it, the detail enhancement anyway. But what you will notice is the visual noise and like, and so the AI upscaler, I can do a 1x upscale where it's not upscaling at all, but it will go through and basically get rid of that noise in a really intelligent way without removing the detail at the same time. So that's normally the goal. So that way it just looks a lot better, but it's not actually being upscaled because it doesn't need to be. But yeah, like the distant meshes got an upgrade. They're actually like flat images, a lot of them, but I did upscale them. And I honestly think it looks incredible. Like for DX9, this is unbelievable. Like the light shafts here, come on. And then, you know, upscaling the cloth. It's still not very high resolution. I gotta look at this cloth texture because it's still, it might be a UV mapping issue. But yeah, you'll see just more accurate shadows cast in most places by the rocks and by trees and just kind of your normal stuff. So nothing too crazy, but this wall I did a new normal map on because in Vanilla DS2 I don't have parallax occlusion mapping as an option like I do in DSRR. I do, like, that is technically an option I can employ to varying success, but it does work. And in Vanilla DS2 I just definitely don't have that, so I have to rely on bump mapping with the normal map. And it's pretty effective. Like, you still get really nice looking, I think, textures, and you get a little bit of depth on the texture itself. Let's go towards Forest of the Fallen Giants. But yeah, like, honestly, I just think it looks fucking awesome. I'm like genuinely surprised how good Vanilla DS2 like looks, even before my alterations. But once I like upgrade the textures and get like better normal maps, you know, I'm just like, god damn, it's crazy. I'm just genuinely very surprised by how good it can look. It's never gonna look like, you know, the DS2 lighting engine for Scholar and, you know, all the changes there. Like, yeah, obviously it's not gonna look that level, but I'm actually surprised like how, I don't know, I think it looks fucking awesome. Oh crap, I fucked up that texture. Yeah, anytime it's like hazy like this, that's because I forgot to put I think it's bitmaps. I did a bitmap problem, so I'll have to look at that texture. Oof. Oh yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. Okay, I'll look at that. But yeah, like, I don't know, man. I'm just really surprised by how fucking good this game can look. What a gem. Okay, Forest of the Fallen Giants, especially this area, desperately needed more shadow casting from trees and whatnot, because it just was lacking a shit ton of that. So now when you see the foliage here casting shadows, it just adds a lot of depth to this environment. I wish I could add more grass, but that would require mod tools that I do not have, that will just don't work with Vanilla DS2. Why they don't work, I don't know. I would assume it was up to the mod creators, and they were like, well, yeah, but why would we support Vanilla and Scholar when they came out so close together? You know, it's not like a Prepare to Die versus DSR situation, because that was like 7 years. 7 years difference, right? So, of course, you were going to support the Prepare to Die edition, because that's all you had for 7 years. And then when Remaster came out, well, obviously, you're going to support that, because that's now the new version, and the other one was delisted. So it's definitely not that kind of situation. I understand why they were probably working on mod support for DS2 Vanilla, and then they were like, well, Scholar, we know it's like, once they announced it and then it came out, I mean, you know, it's DX11 based. That's obviously the vastly more modern renderer. I think it's a shame, but like, I totally get it. Dude, you jabronis, are you kidding me? I said this on Twitter. It's not like I don't think it's really like a hot take, or wow, I'm actually legitimately sucking at the game right now. I don't think this is a hot take. Really, it's probably a lukewarm take. That while I think Dark Souls 3 is a better Souls game, and just a better game, I think overall, for sure. Like on paper, the bosses are better, it looks better, it plays better, the music is, I would say, better in many cases. I have more fun playing Dark Souls 2. That was kind of a realization as I've been working on this, where I'm like, damn, yeah, I just way, way more enjoy playing Dark Souls 2 than I do Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 I fucking love. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I think it's amazing. It has some of the best moments ever, honestly. Like, I think the DLC is crazy, and it has some of my favorite boss fights and like art design, and there's so much I love about Dark Souls 3. But when it comes to like actually revisiting it, yeah, I honestly prefer to revisit Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 1. I have more fun. The Elite Knight set here looks sick as hell. Damn it, that texture is still kind of fucked up. Son of a bitch. Okay. I gotta mess with the... I think I turned my mip maps off when I was trying to goof around with light maps for a second, and I forgot to turn them back on, and so I started saving some texture upscales, and yeah. Now some people might be wondering, like, are you modding in the dark more or less with this project? And luckily, no. That the funny thing is, well, not really funny, but just I learned doing this with Dark Souls 1 is that I would always have a Prepare to Die project open while working on Remastered, because it was just there to double check, and also it looked better in DS Map Studio, so it was easier to, like, for visibility and checking things. And so with this, I've just been using a Scholar project, and I can then go, oh, so that's that map piece. Okay, so that's M0115. I can go open that. Because, obviously it's not like it's an entirely different game. It's just, the enemy placements and some of the items, where they're at, certain things. But the overall, like, map pieces, like this building, I can look at in a Scholar project and go, oh, okay, all right, got it. I just need the model number, really. Like, that's the model ID, right? And so that's useful. That's mostly what I use it for, is I just fly in there and go, God damn, what model number, what model ID is that? All right, that's 225. Okay. That's actually how I quickly go and check the textures for something. Like, I can look and see specifically what textures it uses. And beyond that, it's also what allows me to enable the dynamic shadowing, because I can go, oh, that's M225. Okay, let me go into my ACB tool. Well, it's not my ACB tool. I didn't make it. I want to be clear about that. I did not make that. Very cool tool. And I can go in there. Ow, bitches. These guys always have my number. Wait, I don't have heals? I don't have the HUD on, so I can't... Am I just select... Ow, bitch. Even if I don't have heals, you should be doing... Oh, alright. I must have been on something weird. Yeah, look at the reflections in like the cube map that they're using on the armor. Sick. Oh, I don't remember what I was saying. So, oh yeah, no, I use the ACB tool. And that's where I can enable dynamic shadows. But like, I need to know what map piece is which map piece, because there's tons of them. And God, I did fuck up that texture. That looks real bad. And I believe it's because it's not switching to a lower MIP level. Oh, God damn it. Oh, look. This is probably one of the worst examples. Look at this rock. Whoop, whoop. I also can't fix that. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, there's weird draw group issues that exist in DS1 and DS2, like a shit ton. And I just... Oh, I think that crate also... I need to look at that crate texture because it's being a little goofy. Yeah, okay. I did upscale the crates. I actually haven't upscaled the enemy armor yet. Because interestingly, they included that in the texture file for the map versus doing it like in a separate file. Just for like parts or enemies. So, interesting. I will be upscaling that. This is where I was trying to mess with baked lighting. Unsuccessfully. Oh, bitch ass. Yeah, try to take a swing. I did not remember about your fucking back fat dumbass. Dude, you guys, your spear guys are my most hated, alright? You're bitch asses. Okay, let's go two-hand. What about that? Oh, got him. Got him. Yeah, let's go out on this big sword. But no, this is an area where obviously you can see with the light shafts, there should be light coming in and hitting this floor. And I showed in my Scholar mod, early progress, where I was able to remove the light map that's used on this floor. Because it is basically hiding the fact that there should be light coming in. But I was messing around with the light map and doing the normal methods of light, removing the baked lighting, and yeah, it didn't work. It just wouldn't accept it. I also found in the process of doing... Oh, God, I think those are fucked up, too. Man, yeah, I got some textures I gotta put some mip maps on. I apparently fucked it up. Yeah, look at this view, though. This is one of the best views, like, in all of Souls IMO. Oh, shit, my ass. Like, I love how vibrant it is, and it's just the scale, and, oh, it's just absolutely stunning. Wow, bitch. Okay, no one saw that. No one... Delete the VOD. Yeah, the surface of the water looks a little rough. I need to look at that. Okay, that was bad. That was not a great example. But such is life. Like, look at this view. I did upscale the trees, the distant objects, the sky. Like, honestly, I think this is just genuinely stunning. Like, yeah, there's obviously, like, some of the textures they use and the way that it tiles. I haven't seen that as much in Vanilla DS2. So I'm interested, because I had someone ask me in the YouTube comments if I would be looking at how some of the textures tile. I think in some of the later areas, like Draenlayet Castle, they tile really goofy, in a really goofy fashion that looks pretty awful. I'll definitely look at that. I think that's done through the material settings, so I can try to look at that. The other thing is I'll look at that mod that I think it was called Texture Improvement or something, and it was for Scholar, but I'll have to look at, like, I'll kind of have to look at their homework a little bit and be like, because it's a mod from years and years ago. Or maybe I'll DM the mod creator and just be like, hey, how did you do this? Because I want to say it's through the material settings, like the MTD and which one it's using, because I believe that's actually the thing that's controlling the tiling. And there is the MTD editor program, but I've never opened it for Dark Souls 2, so I'm curious if it'll be supported by Vanilla Dark Souls 2, or if the MTD editor will support Vanilla Dark Souls 2 versus Scholar. I don't know how different their MTD is. I did find that Scholar, their baked light maps are 2 times the resolution of Vanilla DS2. Because I was kind of interested in, like, what were the differences? And that's one of them. I imported one of them over to Vanilla DS2 because I was like, okay, it's 2x resolution. This should be noticeable, right? Not really. The only difference in the file name is that Scholar added HQ at the beginning of it for the light map. And so I just deleted the HQ, copied it over, made sure it was in the same format, which it was. And I didn't notice the difference. It was that Pam meme from The Office where I'm like, this is literally the same image. So for me, I was like, I could port over all the light maps, but man, that example did not really. I couldn't tell a difference, and I'm pretty used to looking at small fucking differences. And this one, I was like, dude, big dog, that's a no for me. I'm not gonna fuck with that. Oh yeah, let's go to Heide's Tower of the Flame real quick. This video's gone on a lot longer, and I've fairly consistently rambled. I didn't really mean it to be that long. See, here's the bonfire shadows I was talking about. Look how sick these bonfire shadows are. Even DS3 doesn't have bonfire shadows like this. It has bonfire shadowing, but it's not nearly as good. They made it to where you can barely fucking see them. It's really annoying. But here, like, oh, come on. Like, that's just the sickest thing of all time. It's amazing. One thing I do need to do... well, actually, yeah, let's do this live real quick. Let's see if I can... because the bonfire is shadowing. So theoretically, should I be able to enable shadowing on this statue? And where it'll cast a shadow behind it? I think I should be able to. So let me show you real quick my process. Oh, I don't have DS Map Studio open? Crazy. Absolutely insane. Oh yeah, we're right around the 30-minute mark, so maybe I can do this really quickly. All right, we're loading. Let's go Heide's Tower of Flame. Now this is a Scholar project for DS Map Studio, obviously. But it is a project I'm using that I created separately, just so I can look at shit. Because basically I just need to fly around the map and pick out the objects that I need to enable dynamic shadowing on, and I can also look at their model files. So let's go over to where Fake Ornstein, Fostein, I'm calling him Fostein. It's not really correct, but he's a fake, right? He can't be the real one. They did him dirty, okay? Oh, so that's object 319010. Okay, so here is basically the process. Oh, the other thing is, let's check M0120. Is this map piece set to shadow cast? Because the actual bonfire shadows didn't look like they were being affected or affecting the environment that much, other than my character. So the ACB editor is just a really cool editor. I can't say who made it, but let's just say it's really cool, and that person's really cool. So what you need to do is then go into your Dark Souls 2 game, model, and then map, and then inside your map BHD, so you'll see there's the E files, the G files. That's where your baked light maps are all stored in the G. H and L are for collisions, so I don't fuck with that. And then you have the map BHD files, M10, and basically that corresponds to all the different numbering over here for the maps. So M1031 is Heide's Tower of the Flame. So we already have that open, actually, because I, of course, have already been looking at that. So in 1031, you then have all of the model files. So the MTE is your, I think, is the material file, so don't worry about that. But the .flv, because in DS1 they're called Fiverr files, or FLVER, flivers, but I call them Fivers. And then .flv, so you can open those and you can actually open them in the pair-based Fiverr editor and also the old Fiverr editor once you unpack them. So it's actually really cool. I say really cool, but like legitimately 0.0001% of the population would think it's cool, and those are the people that are watching my videos. So the ACB file is the thing you need to open here. So we will click on that, and it will load every single map object. And it has toggles for low texture distance, cheap render distance. Oh, actually, while we're here, let's lower the cheap render distance, which I think is when it switches to like a lower quality version of it. I don't have any documentation for this tool, so a bit of it is just kind of goofing around. I still don't know what unknown 35, unknown 36, unknown 37, I don't know what that means. I need to actually mess around, but you have reflectable normal interaction. I don't actually know what it does other than affect the normal map in some way. I don't really, but the thing we're looking at is disable shadow source and disable shadow target. So shadow target is, in DS1 language, it's shadow destination. Can it receive a shadow on it, like a dynamic shadow? And you can actually turn that off, but most all allow that by default. Disable shadow source is where can it itself cast a shadow from a shadow casting light source, like the bonfire in this room. So we're looking for M0120. And right here, you can see it actually has its shadow source disabled. So we should see a pretty big improvement in lighting quality because we can enable that now. So basically you save that. We go back to our BHD file. I've had issues where sometimes it doesn't save the changes. So I always like double check, and I reopen the file and go, hey, did y'all save that? Yes, he did. Okay, cool. We also made some changes to cheap render distance. You love to see it. So then you basically repack your BHD file, and Witchy will open up, and I need to update Witchy, but I have not, so don't worry about that. So that's that part. We have now enabled that for this map piece, but this object over here is separate. So what we need to do is go into game, model, and map, and go under objects, which actually I'm going to check real quick because there's model HQ. Oh, this might be the other problem. Oh, now I understand why. I think I was doing it wrong beforehand. Yes. So they have model HQ and then model. Scholar changes that up, the way that their file system works a little bit. So basically we need to go into here. I now realize what I was doing wrong in my other changes. I was changing the object files for the low quality, and because we have our in-game settings set to high for everything, it uses the higher quality ones here. It's goofy, it's weird, that's just how it works. They kind of have like duplicates of a lot of files, just in case you end up deciding to use the low quality ones. But basically we need to go to 0319010, which is right here, 0319010, and you unpack that shit. Now, technically the ACB editor, I believe, is able to just open it directly without having to unpack it. It basically unpacks it for you. I like to do the unpacking myself because I can open it and then trust that, like, you know. So it looks like it has a normal map in here. Oh, it actually packs in the texture. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's similar to like DS1, where some of the objects will pack in their own textures. And so it is actually using this inner wall texture that is 512 by 512. So while we're here, I don't know how my CPU is not blowing up right now, because let me tell you, DS2 vanilla running on DX9, you can tell it doesn't use that many cores because my processor like sounds like it's taking off. So don't worry about it. Yeah, working on it. Okay, got that. Inner wall. Let's go into Topaz real quick. Do a very quick upscale. Okay, let's just do a little 2x standard V2. Let's open the texture in paint.net. Normally it opens quicker once paint.net is in memory. Okay, let's store that as BC1. Love to see it. All right, so now we have a better texture once we repack it. So not only that, in this small, this is why I love doing this modding, because I've enabled shadow casting on the actual interior room. We've just upscaled the texture on the statues that are in the room, and we're also going to enable shadow casting on those statues. So it's just like so much fun for me, which I also understand for almost no one else. Other than the people that watch my videos, the real OGs. Love you guys. Yeah, so basically we need to open up this, go to game, model H quality, model high quality, go to objects, the B&D file we just opened, and then open up the ACB file for that, which now you can see disable shadow source was enabled. So it was not able to cast shadows. But boy, can we fix that super quick. Now let's just make sure that that change actually was enabled. Yes, it was. Okay, cool. All right. And you can see it automatically made a backup of the ACB file, which is great. You'll love to see it. So it was done at 11:18, which is exactly now. You just need to repack the B&D for the object you just modified, which is great. We did that. I think we also... Okay, so that's where the textures... Yeah, so it's kind of goofy. For Vanilla DS2, they store their textures in the model HQ file. That's where the TPF files all are. And then in your model, you have the map, and that's where they store the BHDs, but not the TPF files. It's a whole thing. Don't worry about it. So I'll just make sure I repacked that, which has the shadow change for the actual map piece itself, not the objects, which are the statues. It's a whole thing. I'm realizing how fucking goofy this is. All right, so now this is the moment of truth. If I did things correctly, we should have higher resolution statues, statues that are shadow casting, and the overall room itself should now respond to the bonfire shadows. This will be the best way to end this video, is with, if it looks cool. Fingers crossed. And holy goddamn shit, it does look cool. Look at that. You're actually getting a perspective correct-ish shadow cast of the pillar style thing. So it's actually like the angle from where the origin is. Also, I have upscaled this floor. And now the statues actually cast correct shadows. And oh my god, this room now looks sick as fuck. I'm going to just take a nifty little screenshot. Hey, you know, NVIDIA, I don't ask much, but can you please actually do your fucking screenshots? Yeah, they did get a little texture upgrade. Oh man, you love to see it. Which now, because I've enabled the shadow casting, it actually, all of the statues now react to the player torch as well. Because that's the same toggle. Is you'll now actually get this, the sword, even the sword on the statue has its own little shadow. It's so cool. This is why I've become just absolutely obsessed, and I kind of fell into this little hole because it's so much fun modding Dark Souls 2. Like, oh my god, I love it. Like the fact that I can make these kind of changes is just, it's, oh my god, you're even getting the ceiling. Oh my god, it looks so good. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. I do have a PayPal, a coffee, in case you don't want to like subscribe to the Patreon, like for, you know, recurring. Totally get that as a subscription, because I have people that like subscribe to it and then unsubscribe, which makes perfect sense, as that's essentially just a donation, which I love and super appreciate. But yeah, the PayPal is like the better option if you just want to donate. I've had some donations recently, so I do want to shout that out. I appreciate y'all. It's great. It's very nice. It's very helpful for me. I get to focus more on modding because it's so much fun, and I would do it for the rest of my life if I could. And maybe I will. Maybe as From Software games get older, I will just consistently remaster their old games forever and ever. It sounds like a good life to me, so maybe I'll do that. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.